William S. Powell Award, created early in this century, has been given on years when an undergraduate could be identified for an essay about the history of the university. And in recent years, the purpose of the award was changed so that we could have a broader appeal to undergraduates who did research projects. And so it now selects an essay that is about the state of North Carolina or the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I'd like for Seth Thomas Moore to please come forward. Mr. Moore has been honored at the Chancellor's Awards program on April 25th. So he is already famous for this year's winner of the Powell Award. Archie and I and others were present that day when so many young people of outstanding accomplishments were honored in the Great Hall. I want Seth to tell you something about the essay that he wrote concerning people in the Piedmont, he's from King, North Carolina, who opposed the Confederacy. Could you say something about that?
Good evening. So my paper was on the anti-Confederate movement in North Carolina, mainly focusing on the Quakers and the Methodists and how their anti-slavery views transformed into opposition to the Confederacy. So I mainly analyzed how the Quakers, why their pacifist position allowed them to be against slavery, and then how between anti-slavery views and their pacifist views that caused them to oppose the Confederacy and its conscription efforts. And the same goes for the Methodists, how their anti-slavery views, how this church split originally, and then how your Wesleyans in North Carolina mobilized behind efforts to oppose the Confederacy and any conscription efforts on its behalf.
Lloyd Kramer assisted in identifying this outstanding young man, and I want him to tell you a bit about his professor, who's new to the faculty in history here.
Yes, so my professor that worked with me on, it was for the history capstone, and my professor for the capstone, Dr. Antoine Hunter, who could not be here tonight, is the one who nominated me. And I loved working with Dr. Hunter. He was a great help throughout this project. He mainly focuses on his research on slavery and mainly how weapons are used in slave revolts and any resistance to the Confederacy and other policies at the time that allowed slavery to exist. So it's been a pleasure working with Dr. Hunter. He's worked with me closely on this paper that allowed me to get this award and have my paper published with Trace's undergraduate publication here at UNC.
The award that he received April 25th included a check from the Powell Endowed Fund in our society and an autographed copy of The First State University, a book that most of you have at your homes, I'm sure. There's a third part to the award, and I had to tell him when he came in the room this afternoon that the engraver could not get the piece of metal that was precious enough to put his name on. So we have a supply chain problem, but there's nothing new about that. Thank you so much, sir.